Now I have to go to the thing. Hi, if we're live, I'm sorry.
I love it.
Bruins haven't had a shot in like 5 minutes.
The
Sheesh.
game's making me too anxious.
yeah.
Okay, we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Three Dads and a Console. Remember, not every dad can stay up to date on the latest and greatest and video game news that you need to know about, so we are here to do it for you. And remember, this show is kid-friendly, so no earmuffs are needed. Now on with the show. I'm one of your hosts, Wobble Plays, alongside Court. Hello.
Hey, Queen. I see you in the background. How you doing?
Yeah, she's getting weights. And we so what's well, I'm not going to do what's new because we want to talk about our host, one mom and a console. Dana, hello.
Hi, hello. I play many consoles.
Yeah, we're
Awesome.
two dads and a mom and a console.
I
Two
like
dads,
it.
mom, and a console. Not a
You have three
Pez.
dads. It is what it is.
So Dana is the executive editor of CG Gaming Online. Can you tell the folks a little bit about what your content is about?
All right. So I work for CG Magazine. I do a lot. My personal content a lot of the time ends up being a bit about my life in tech, in gaming, but as a mom. So I have a little bit of a different perspective than a lot of 25-year-old dudes that work in this industry, or 45-year-old dudes, or
They're all 25-year-old dudes. They really are.
I know, right? They really are. Or like 65-year-old dudes who still think they're 25-year-old dudes.
Or
That's also an
actually at
option.
PAX East, I will say this, at the end of the night, when it got to around 12, the bar empties out and it's all 35 plus. Like that's all it is. It's all old people
Because that's the
complaining.
only time we get to have fun.
Yeah, fair
That's
enough.
it.
Yeah.
We're milking
Make
it
the
for all it's
most.
worth.
Yeah, make the most when the kids are at home.
Yeah,
Yes,
100%, dude.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Kids
And
are a lot. They are.
So much.
How old are your little ones, Dana?
I have a 4-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy, and I'm pretty sure they're both going on 45 or 18 because they don't like me.
See, you're the only one, well, that we've had on here who has two. So Court, Pez, and
Oh.
Yeah,
well, no,
she's-
Pez has.
Pez has-
it's
Pez has many,
yeah.
multiple.
I'm the only one too. He's got 74. You guys have one, I'm guessing.
Well, usually it's the one kid. Like I'm one and done because of
That would've been a
stuff.
great idea.
And then Waba's.
Thanks.
I don't think Waba's one and done. I don't know where.
I very much am.
Oh, you're one and done, eh? Oh yeah, because you don't want to share the wealth. That's for sure.
How old are yours?
Yeah.
Mine is turning 8 in November, so she's going on 15 because she's already
Also
like
November.
Taylor Swift and like. All she cares about, she has her purse every day now. She got it's a Lululemon fanny pack, which she
You're
puts
in so
inside
much
with.
trouble.
Yeah, I
So much
know.
trouble. So I
And-
have a 13-year-old niece as well, who my family were a village, so like she's mine too. And then my nephew is actually the same age as my son. They go to the same school. They're in separate classes this year because the teachers have learned that it's a no bueno.
Yeah, you
But,
can't have them in the same class.
They learned kindergarten. They were the same class. But yeah, so we're like this little village from 4 to 13. The boys are smack in the middle, same age, and it's
How many girls
Good
and how many
luck.
boys?
2 girls, 2 boys, but the girls are the bookends. So
So the boys will
13-year-old and
the boys will look out for the girls eventually.
maybe, but right now the 13-year-old, like the 4-year-old's obsessed with her, like just obsessed with her. So it's
What
going
is with
okay.
that? Like my daughter is so like when she meets an older girl, you like watch out because that's the only person she wants to hang out with. The only
Because
person
that's
she
what they
wants to
want
talk
to be. That's
They emulate
cool.
them so
Yeah.
much. Even like at the
Mhm.
playground, it's like my daughter just does whatever like the older kids do, and usually it's more than I want her to be doing, like climbing a wall that I think she's too small for. But she figures.
I'm
it
sorry,
out.
how old was your daughter? I missed that one.
She's 5, and she's more or less like what Court was mentioning. It's like the same. Like
Yeah.
my wife is very much into like Taylor Swift and all that. So
Mhm.
actually today my wife had to explain to her what a broken heart was, because I guess in the new album there was that.
New
Meanwhile,
album's got tons of swears, by the way. Like ridiculous.
let him fly, Taylor. But meanwhile, I'm watching
Can't
Spidey
believe
and
I'm
his
the one
amazing
that's out of
friends.
this conversation
Yeah,
right
no.
now. Like,
I've heard the
I
album.
had to
a
explain
bunch.
to my daughter a broken heart because the Valentine's Day episode in Spidey and his amazing friends. So see, I'm also a wealth of knowledge for her,
there
just
you go.
not when it comes to T Swift.
I love the having both sides of the of the
I've had to
coin.
learn. Like I'm learning about Pokemon now. Like none of this was in my wheelhouse, but I had my daughter watch just recently. We watched all the Ghostbuster movies, which there was a swear in it, and she was like, "I was like, oh, don't worry about that." She goes, "People say it at school all the time, Daddy." I'm like, fair enough.
The
Yeah,
teachers.
like the things that I've caught that my son's friends and the kids in our building. I live in an apartment, and the kids in our building doing. I'm like, oh no. And then I'm like, oh, what was I doing when I was 9? Oh no.
Well,
Uh,
I think about that like when I was my daughter's age at 8, I would go to the mall by myself, like meet friends there. I would go ride my bike like 25 minutes away. I
Yeah.
just tell my parents I'm going out and I would be come back when the streetlights are on. We the
if
80s,
that.
Jesus, we were scary.
No, I grew up in the 90s, and it was very much the same. Like the come in when the streetlights are on. I just explained to my kids during the I almost said apocalypse, the eclipse. Uh, all
Close
the
enough.
streetlights came on when the lights went off, and we started talking
Oh.
about that. And I was like, I just realized that they didn't register streetlights coming on, but that was like how we survived. I was like, oh,
Because we were
big
outside. We
gap
didn't have
there.
iPads. We didn't have
Yeah,
tablets. We were just like, you
yeah,
had to go knock on a friend's house,
yeah.
call on them to see what they're doing. And if they weren't home, you went to the next friend. And then if you couldn't find
Now,
anybody, you got on your bike and drove around to find everybody.
okay, that's true. So in the apartment building, there's a bunch of kids that are all the same age because that's how school zones work. So they all go to the same school, and that my son will get all his stuff on, go knock door to door to door, and then he'll come back in. He's like, nobody's there. I'm like, well, you're not going outside alone. You can go be mischievous, but again, we live like in an apartment complex, so it's little, right? Like they're not going in the middle of nowhere. But then when my niece was growing up, it was like, no, you can't do anything. You can't go outside alone. You can't do whatever. And I remember, God, she was probably 12, and they said she went to the mall. I was like, what? Alone? Like, okay, I'm a little sheltered.
We do that.
Sorry.
We,
I've changed.
mind you, I was saying to you guys before, I got my daughter tickets to Imagine Dragons concert, and I was trying to
Yep.
explain to her because it's at Budweiser stage, and I'm like, so when we go to this, honey, this is not like I took her to the NHL All Star game this year, and I'm like, you know how I made a rule that you have to hold my hand at all times unless we're sitting in the seats. I'm like, you have to stick on me like it's nobody's business. I'm like, at a Leaf game, everybody's following the same place. I'm like, at a concert, there's a lot more drunk people. There's just nope.
Yeah.
You have to be around me at all times.
Absolutely.
Like, don't
Leash.
move. Yes.
Oh,
That's what I'm
get the.
thinking. Because she's like, we're going to Wilco as well at Massey Hall, and she's like, she wants to dress up to that and be all fancy. That's a folk concert. You can
Oh,
do that. But for Imagine Dragons, she's like, Can I wear a dress?" I'm like, no, not for that one. That's gonna be jeans and a t-shirt. You gotta have your concert gear for that. You gotta wear running shoes.
absolutely.
You gotta make sure
You
you're
gotta know
good.
what's up. You gotta be ready.
You gotta be ready. And earplugs
Absolutely.
for sure.
That.
Earplugs. Oh yeah.
Dude, it's
Not
loud.
damaging their ears. I grew up like my dad raced cars at I don't think you guys live near me. Anyway, my dad raced cars, so like I grew up going to the stock car races and all this stuff.
Sunset
And we had
Speedway
the
is right
big
around the corner from my
earphones.
house.
Yeah, we have a Merrittville Speedway here, and that's where I grew up, like dirt flying at you in the middle of the night, and yeah. So I'm like,
We
oh
have the
yeah,
Derby where I
I-
live. Every the dirt my daughter's best friend does the Power Wheel derbies. So like
okay.
they smash the Power Wheels, they put balloons on all of them, and then you have to pop all the balloons as they
Like
smash.
Mario
Okay.
Kart? I didn't
Yeah,
know
I
that
was
was a
just gonna
real
say I've
thing.
played this game before.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
So
funny.
yeah, they're a Derby family, they call themselves.
A Derby family.
Yeah,
All
they go to
right.
Pennsylvania and
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't think we have a thing. I think I have a lot of screens in my living room. We have like two 55-inch TVs side by side, and then my PC that's like kitted out with two monitors and everything you could possibly need with Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, like all, yeah.
See, our kids don't
We don't
understand. Like
share.
your kids probably don't realize like people have to go out and buy video games. They don't
Mhm.
just
Yeah,
magically appear all the time.
yeah. Although my son's obsessed with Roblox now, which is like the
The
one
worst
thing.
game ever.
Oh
It's
no.
terrible.
It's starting.
Yesterday he took my Xbox. He was using my Xbox. I'm like, okay, he has a gaming PC that we keep in my room so that he's not doing things. I gotta watch the boy. But he was
He doesn't
playing it.
need he can just figure yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So he's on the Xbox playing it, and I'm like, what do you like? What's the purpose? He's like, I'm just gaining levels. I'm like, "But you're not doing anything. He's like, yeah, I am. I'm like, you literally just got up and left. Like I watched you. You just there you went,
Roblox is
and
weird.
levels still went up.
You'd be a good RuneScaper if we're
Ugh.
being open, honest, and true.
Oh god,
Just sit
it's
there and chop a
terrible.
tree down.
Or Civilization. Give him
terrible.
Civilization. He'd probably be great at that game.
Civilization, maybe.
Next time an MMO comes out, you can outsource your, low-level grinding and item finding to him.
That's all I want to do is get him to play a game that has a purpose. Like I don't care, just something.
Like
A
Destiny or
just have a purpose.
Like
Minecraft, I don't
Helldivers!
care.
Oh, Helldivers
Oh,
has
I
got
still
huge.
haven't
Oh,
played Hell.
let's go.
I'm so upset about Helldivers. I don't even want to talk about it.
Why?
Because I'm an Xbox girl, and I really
Oh,
don't
that's
PC
right.
game a lot.
It might come to PlayStation. I mean
Right.
Xbox.
We're doing some tradesies lately, right?
We're doing lots of tradesies lately. Well, Xbox needs some help, right? It's like,
Yeah.
you can be an Xbox person, but there's very few of you. So
There's
unfortunately,
6 of us.
unfortunately, when a game drops on Xbox and they're like, "So our sales aren't good." Well, that's because you don't have many. Like, I shouldn't say it that way. It's not that because I have both consoles, but
Yeah.
I primarily play on PlayStation, and it's just I think it's because they've been out longer. It's one of those things. It's like you're either Nintendo or PlayStation, and then like if you were in that 30 to 35-year-olds, they're all Xbox people. Just that 5-year span.
Because
Hey,
of COD.
that's rude. And I've never played no, I have played Call of Duty, but like not religiously.
Did I just
you know?
pigeonhole
Yeah.
you?
But I am indeed in that age bracket, so fight me. Oops, sorry.
Hey, it's okay. I'm in
What
the
the-
I'm
That
in
one
the other
wasn't a
one.
swear.
No, that's fine.
I'm in the other one.
Yeah, that other group. We don't talk about that group.
Yeah, Gen
No,
Xers. For God, I was born in the 70s.
So my brother 1 year for Christmas bought me like the crystal Xbox. Do you remember like the see-through Xbox? He bought that for me for Christmas. He's a bit older than me. And at the time, like we grew up playing like GameCube and all that stuff. I was like, why did you buy me this? Like, okay, cool. Thanks. Uh I skipped Christmas to play Fable.
Ooh, good game.
Literally.
Very good game.
And I've just been like hardcore Xbox ever since. But it's not that I don't like there aren't really any PlayStation exclusives. Oh god, I hit my desk. That I'm really like, man, I want to play
Spider-Man
that
2?
until
Uncharted? Last of Us?
nope, none of them, none, not one.
Well, you know
So
what? We're gonna talk
I'm
about Stellar
more.
Blade later. Like it's got a lot of
Yeah.
To be
booty in it.
fair, there you go. To be fair, I actually read the review on that one and I was pretty intrigued by it, if you will. But
It's-
I'm a Elder Scrolls,
Yep.
Mass Effect, Fallout, that kind of gamer. So I don't necessarily have to live on PlayStation to do that. You know,
Fair.
Fair.
No, you're 100% truth.
The
my
80-hour
partner's
games.
full PlayStation. Oh yeah, but that my life has changed. The 80-hour games.
Yeah, I
Lord.
can't do
But
them. That's why we'll talk about it. I might as well get into
Yeah.
Stellar Blade.
Yeah.
That's why I liked Stellar Blade. So one of my favorite parts about it, it's 20 hours. You can make it 40 hours if you want to do all the side hustles.
See, but I
I-
do want to do
Well,
the side hustle.
You do, but I would suggest this. If you do hop into Stellar Blade, you will need one to do the old-fashioned save files and have a whole bunch of different ones and like put them in the cloud and like
I live that life for glitches alone.
yes. So you need it for the trophies to get it all because there is a point of no return in the game where you can't go any further.
Okay.
But I want to talk about I can't believe I'm going to say this because types of games because it is technically an action adventure souls like, but it doesn't have to be because there's a story mode. So
I feel like this game just makes up its own rules. It's like, well, it is
Well-
this, but only if you want it to be.
but
I like
Rise
this.
of the Ronin did it too. I think PlayStation is
Okay.
kind of like doing this where and Jedi Fallen Order, I guess, was the first one to do it, where they're like, hey, if you want to play this and smack your head against the wall and make sure you parry every 2 seconds because this game is so freaking hard to fight, like Elden Ring styles, you can. But if you want to just play it
Don't
for the
even
story,
Elden Ring me.
but if you want to just play for the story, you can, and they allow you to do that. You can play
Oh,
it
I like that.
hard and do everything, but for this game, the story is fantastic. I don't even want to give it away because it's so many twists and turns that I never expected to happen. I usually can play a game, you're like, oh, this is gonna happen. Like this is all this foreshadowing's happen. When you play this game, you're just like, what? No, oh, like it just keeps doing it. Then there's also 3 endings to the game.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can have different paths to get to different endings. The combat is extremely buttery smooth.
like that.
You get to use a sword, but we have all these different combos. The skill tree isn't so ridiculously large, like like a Ubisoft game. You can pretty much get all your skills in one playthrough and upgrade everything. You can grind out and go into the open world and just kill enemies and keep getting your experience to level yourself up.
To rule
But
the
once
world.
again once again, you don't really have to. Uh, money is plentiful. Like it's you're never scavenging and feeling like you're overmatched when you go meet enemies, all that kind of stuff. It is open world, but there is a linear path. When you go into areas in their undergrounds, it is linear. You can only go into a certain
Okay.
spot, and there is puzzles that you have to do. It's almost Zelda-like, because there are tombs, right?
Okay.
And then there is the extremely over sexualization of the main character, Eve. It is unbelievable how much her outfits are inappropriate. And I say this because we always talk about games we can play in front of our kids. You couldn't even play this in front of your son because he would be,
Very
yeah,
confused the whole time. There'd be a lot of
yeah.
questions.
It would be like they even have it where you collect these pop cans, and the reward for it is lingerie for your character because your outfits,
Damn.
So I
your
knew about the pop cans. I didn't know about the lingerie per se.
yes,
Oh, that
yeah.
sounds awful, Court. I mean,
In
where
my
would someone even hide these pop cans? It's like, God,
in my
like, where are
review, which is
they?
up on Three Dads in a Console, I actually put a screenshot of this, and you can
That's
actually see
amazing.
what the reward is, which is more hilarious
Oh,
to me than
damn.
anything else because your outfit is not armor. It says it's armor, but it does nothing. There's no
Well,
buffs
okay,
or
but that's
anything like
like the
that.
history of gaming
Yeah,
right there. It
classic
says it's
fantasy
armor.
armor.
But I can't even be mad because everything you're saying, I jumped into a new game of Elden Ring and I'm like, why can't I make her hot? It's like took forever trying to make this girl not look like a, and then I just made it awful and I like went full Beetlejuice and like pulled her head back.
So
It was the whole thing.
Eve is
But like,
extremely hot. Every
That's such a
girl
yeah,
good.
I
in
know
this
Eve is
game is
hot.
extremely hot. Every girl in the game, like
I mean,
every single girl in the game. Like I was playing it, and my wife walked in the room. She goes, "What are you playing?" I was like, "A video game." She goes, "No, seriously, why are you playing this game?" I was like, "Why?" She goes, "While
video.
she's talking right now, everything is moving." I'm like,
Yeah,
"You're right. You're right. You
Just a
get
that is.
over it."
3.0 earthquake in the
I
You
world.
don't
should have
think
been
they
what?
I
I
don't
didn't
think they needed
notice.
to do what they did. The
I
over I
didn't
don't think
notice.
I think they went too far in my opinion,
Yeah.
but I don't wanna yuck anybody's yum. If that's their thing and, digitally pixeled girls are their thing, fine.
Yeah.
The game is great though. It is. I think I gave it an 8 and a lot of the review scores are pretty high. I truly think that it might be even higher if they didn't, you know, make her look like she works at
If they didn't make it so I couldn't play it in public without being judged.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
yeah, I
our
would be
reviewer
scared if
gave
this
an
game went on
8.5
PC.
too.
The mod
Yeah.
community would make her naked, like 100%.
Yeah. Oh, yes, 100. I
There's a
that already
bunny
is. Didn't
outfit.
we just?
There's a bunny outfit that you can get. You can
Mhm.
see her butt cheeks.
Such is life. Our reviewer had the same comments, and he was like, "I don't want to like fight with it because then like the mouth breathers of the world will come after us." I'm like, "You're not
100%.
wrong. You're not wrong." And he's like, "And I don't even want to be like, yeah, I really like this game because everybody's like, you're a creep," but he's not. He's like the least of the creeps. I'm probably creepier than he is, and like, I was like, it is what it is, I guess.
It's a
It is
good
what it
game.
is.
I'm actually in shock. Like I am not near Automata. I'm not those type of people
Yeah.
that play those games. I didn't like Final Fantasy 16. I got really annoyed with that game after 30 hours. I was like, I don't want to play this game anymore. This game's good. I like games that are 25 hours. That's perfect to me. Like even Rise of the
Mhm.
Ronin, I was enjoying it, and then all of a sudden after the second act, I'm like, this game's still going. Like you guys could have ended it a really long time ago. If the story is good enough, sure. But
Mhm.
like a perfect example to me always will be Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That game
Mhm.
is fantastic, but it is 30 hours too long. It is 90 hours to finish that story.
I've
Th-
heard that. I'm not
That
an
is
Assassin's Creed girl, but I've
it
heard
is
that.
crazy. When we were at Ubisoft, they were talking to me, they were interviewing, they're talking about they're like, "So what Assassin's Creed games?" I was like, "Oh, I liked Valhalla,
Absolutely
but,
not.
and they were like, "Well, what'd you like about it?" I'm like, "Well, I can tell you what I didn't like about it." I'm like,
That's
"Why
what
did you"
every dev wants to hear. I can tell you what you did wrong.
I'm like,
Uh,
"Why did you make it so long?" And they were explaining to me why, and I'm like, I get that you want the play on with the game, but make that DLC. Don't make
mm.
the story itself 90 hours."
Yeah, have the story and then all the other things you can do. That's like I'm gonna be honest. So Skyrim, oh god, I know it's a
Uh-oh.
ways back now,
You
but
can't
like
say bad words about that game.
no bad words.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you how long the story is though, because I played so many hours into that game that I don't even remember the story because I did everything else. I recall doing everything you could possibly do and then playing the story one time and going, "Oh, that was a bad idea." Um, but that's what I mean. You can play that story, or you can spend 1,000 hours in the game and have barely touched the story. And I like that. I like that it's not, well, to complete this, you have to have beat this guild and this guild and this guild and all these side quests and found this. I like choose your own
So
adventures, if you
non-Zelda
will.
games.
So I grew
You
up
hey,
on Zelda,
if it makes
right?
you
Ocarina of Time, but
I
You know.
like old Zelda. I do not like the newer Zelda on the Switch at all.
okay, so I said my brother's a bit older than me. We're 7 years apart. So I was playing Ocarina of Time when I was mm, 4, now probably older than that, but I was little and not smart enough to figure any of it out. And this was pre-internet. So it was, Joe, how do I beat this? Joe, how do I beat this? Joe, how do I beat this? Stop asking me questions if you can't play the game. So it was a but then when our kids were really little, the new Zeldas came out and I was like, whatever, just go pick up apples, enjoy your life, have fun. And then I tried playing it, I'm like, oh, thank God for the internet. I'd still be going, hey,
Yeah.
The
hey
new ones are
Joe.
tough,
Hey
especially for
Joe.
younger kids.
Well,
Yeah,
I will say this about
absolutely.
Cellblade: there are puzzles, and reviewing a game. Everybody always says it's so glamorous to review a game. They think this, but as someone that's not good at video games, and I put that myself in that class of like, I always should wear a T-shirt. Baby mode is my jam. Like if I played a Bethesda game, I'm always the guy in the baby, like 100%. But when you have puzzles in a game, how am I supposed to figure them out if I can't Google it?
Mhm.
There's puzzles in this game everywhere, and like Matt, my co-host on PlayStation Generation, he figured out one. So we were doing our review for Console Creatures, and we're all talking. He's like, "Oh yeah, I did that one." We're all just like, "What? How did you do that? It involves math. How did you figure that out?"
That's funny. I'm reviewing a game right now that I can't talk about. But I literally had to email PR and be like, "Listen, it's an easy puzzle game. Like it's supposed to be the world's chillest game." Like they're like, "Oh, it's only like an hour or two and like the puzzles aren't hard, but blah blah blah." It's like, "I don't want to have to do this, but I need some help. I'm stuck." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll look. I'll talk to them." And then the instructions that they gave me, I'm like, that's the opposite of everything in the puzzle. Like that solution doesn't make sense. Like I get that when I do that, it will be solved, but everything it tells you and teaches you up to that point, it's like, nah, just do something different. You're like, oh, okay. And I was like, all right, whatever, that's fine. The next puzzle I get to, I'm like, oh, okay, I need to do this. Like, very clear. I do it, nothing happens. Like, what? What's going on? So I click a hint, and then it shows me a picture of what I did, and then just something else. And I'm like, no idea
Ooh,
what the something else is
You got puzzled.
at all. I'm like, I don't like the hint doesn't even make sense. I'm like, great, this is so good. So I either have to stop because I can't get any further, or bite the bullet and be like, help me again, I'm dumb. So that's where I'm at with
I've
puzzles right
never
now.
thought of doing that. Just email
Reach
PR and be like, "I can't figure
Some
this out."
games will send you like a, "Hey, here's a guide if you guys are stuck." But that's for like, massive games that are like, "Hey, you might find trouble here." For me, it was doing live previews. Like still when it was more COVID-y and they do them all virtually, but you'd be in Parsec and you'd be in Discord with a dev or PR or whatever, just watching you play.
Ooh,
Not
that's
a
creepy.
camera or anything. I'm like, "Cool. Do you think you have anxiety now?" Because I'm a snooper, like, I need to open every cupboard, and I realize that during, like, a one-hour preview, maybe you shouldn't do that, that's kind of wasteful, but I forget, and I start doing things like, "Hey, so you're not gonna find anything in there that you need," and I'm like, "Shut up, I just wanna play the way I wanna play. Stop watching me." It's stressful when people are watching you like that. I don't like it.
And they have to do that like 7 times a day, so
And they're probably
don't
like,
I'm
"Oh
sure
god,
there's
not the cupboard again."
So, and then when the game finally comes out and you go to that cupboard and you can't even open it, 'cause they're like, "That's because
Yeah.
of you."
Yeah. You did this. Ah,
I'm shocked to hear Stellar Blade is 20 hours though. I feel like in games like that, usually it's like
Some
these
people I
long
talked to
80-hour
finished it
things.
in 18.
What I think is going to be cool, and I know you don't care about this part, but like the speedrunning community, if it's that quick to finish the whole game, the speedrun, you're going to see this at AGDQ, maybe, just again based on the outfits and stuff. And that's why I say maybe. So they can probably find one
I
that
think this game will
is
be
good
huge for
for the
PlayStation
stream.
because of there's going to be people that buy it for the game itself, and then there's going to be people that buy it just so they can do a review or do YouTube videos to say how sexist it is. Then you're going to have people that'll buy it just because that's their yum. So
Mhm.
you're gonna have 3 type of people that buy this game.
Speedrunners. Or
No,
just wait.
that's not a thing.
Hey, they did it with Returnal.
Yeah.
See, you guys are so like, I can't believe it's only 20 hours. And again, I play like the you can play these for 4 million years games. God, give me a farming simulator. You'll lose me. But for something to be 20 hours and be considered short kind of blows my mind. Because I remember getting the gunk when that came out. And like I
I
didn't
like
even
that game.
realize it was a ton of fun. I think I played it in one sitting though. And I had never done that. I'd never played a game that didn't own my soul for an eternity.
Fair.
That was not a thing. So I was like, oh, people play these games that are just like a one and done? Huh. Or like a maybe 2 nights and done.
Artful
kinda-
Escape was I love that. That was the 2 nights, and I thought that was fantastic.
That was and that kind of takes you in a lot into the world of indie gaming, but just in general, I mean, my boss Brendan, he loves games that are jump in, jump out, and that's the end of it. I'm like, oh, I would be so sad. Like, I need to get my dopamine from when am I playing it next? When are the kids going to sleep? Are they asleep yet? Can I do it now? Like, I need that hit. That's not good. Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, it's drug.
It's drug. Crap.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Great.
So I know Stellar Blade Court isn't really your type of gym, but you're enjoying it.
Yeah, no, I gave it an 8. Yeah, it's a good game. I can't believe I'm gonna say that. It's a good game.
I got to play a game recently that isn't my jam, but I'm actually having fun with it. And that's Tales of Kanzara.
I'm proud
Zao.
of you for saying that properly. If people don't
I
realize this, Waba's been saying
rehearsed.
it incorrectly for about a week now.
I've also been
Aw.
saying I added a Legends in there, which is not
Yes,
true.
for no reason whatsoever. It's like I'm playing that Legends game. I'm like, what are you
What
talking
game
about?
is that?
Like, this
No,
doesn't
it's
even
it's
exist. The Legends of Bagger Vance.
well, so I know initially it was on our radar because it's a game about like a relationship with your, father, and
Yes.
being a Three Dads podcast. It's something that resonated with us, and all the PR
We all
about
have
it, all
daddy
the
issues, is
advertisements,
what he's
amazing.
Same.
we are the daddy issues. That's
Oh, not yet.
More
You guys got
accurate.
a couple years yet. Couple.
yeah.
You're good.
But it's a Metroidvania game, which that's not typically the type of game I play because I just like a linear story. I like going forward. I don't want to go back. I just want to, keep the story moving. And so far I've been enjoying it. I played it for about I think 2 to 3 hours so far, so I'm still in the early beginnings. And I also like story heavy games, and I would say this is story light in the beginning. So it starts off and immediately again, the biggest theme of this is loss. That's what it's been advertised as, but it's an adventure to kind of work through that loss. And everybody might have a different opinion of that, or experience with that, but everybody does have an experience with that. And they touch on it very subtly, but in a really impactful way. It's literally just a sentence from the main character, and he starts to go on an adventure that was, he's navigating his own trauma through an adventure that he's experiencing in one way or another. So I think this story, again, they don't really like pile it on you. There's a lot of like show don't tell, which I kind of appreciate out of like a story, out of a game like that. I know a lot of games, they kind of like force feed you like, this is what you're doing, this is why you're doing it. This doesn't really do that. They do give you a lot of some indicators of exactly like what your motivations are, but once you get started, then it's like, okay, immediate action. So, you're the shaman, you can use like these 2 abilities right away, the sun and the moon, so you get that kind of parallel. You call upon the god of death. And
It's uplifting.
it draws, yeah, I know, right? So
Seriously,
immediately
everything
it's
is
not a comedy.
Yeah.
This game. And
it's a Metrovania. They're not comedies.
Yeah, right.
They,
but it draws upon a lot of like folklore, which it's a folklore I'm not familiar with, but it's really does it in a way
it's
that
an
like,
album
you
by
can
Taylor
explore.
Swift. Yeah.
No, not quite. Nice.
Never thought I'd be outwifted by 2 dads.
Got him. But yeah, I think the combat's great. It's fluid. You get to like get new abilities, as you continue to find these like, different shrines and things like that. And it's really easy in terms of like how to actually use it. It's, the subtle like, hey, this is a thing that's happening. You better use this activity. But like, then it like lets you like immediately do more. And if you fail, like if you die, like it brings you back like not so far away. So there can be a lot of trial and error. There's no lives. so it's a little forgiving for someone like me that doesn't play a lot of this type of genre. Excellent. The one thing I found the voice acting's terrific, by the way. There's a lot of different localization, which is really cool. I believe it's also in Swahili, which is not, a typical localization you see, but because of the setting of the game, it's really cool. And I've seen some people online, being really excited to, be able to experience something in a language that they're familiar with that they don't always get to, experience. But the game in the beginning, you have to get like three, I think it's like three deities and conquer them. You are supposed to go right. First thing I did was go left, because you're going to tell me to go right. I'm going the other way, much like you're covered.
Absolutely. Nope, not the story. I need to find what else is going on around here.
Yeah. And your guide is like, I think I told you to go right. And your character's like, I know what I'm doing. So I'm like,
Got this.
like, am I underpowered in this area? So I immediately went back right because I'm a coward. But like, if you went left, like, let us know. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's great. It's great to see kind of the
I have a code for this game. I'm gonna go left for you.
Please let me know. I'm so curious. I don't know if I was gonna get bodied right away, if I even had the skills to like progress. But
Well,
I
it's
need...
Metroidvania, like that's the whole thing, right? Like you're gonna
Yeah.
get to a point they're like, well, you can't go any further. You don't have the
I said
skills.
no.
Yeah. We told you not to go this way, and you did, so you're dead
Now
now.
you will pay.
Yeah.
But the guy in Tune where he's like, I think I know what I'm doing. I'm like, "Well, I don't think I
So
know
it's
what I'm
like
doing.
he's
Don't
talking
speak
to
for
his
me."
dad then, because like he's the kid and the
He's
dad's
speaking.
the
Yeah.
narrator.
Well, he's speaking to the god of death is the
father.
and the whole plot. No, it's well, maybe I don't know if it's allegory, but the whole plot is I'm gonna conquer these beings to bring my dad back, and if I don't fail, then I'm done too. So
So
Yeah,
I was
it's
at
great.
I don't know if it was the Game Awards I think it was the Game Awards when they first announced the game.
Yes, it was Game Awards.
I was there for that. And like he came on stage and said the things he said, and like I am a girl with daddy issues. I lost my dad 13 years ago, and I was like ugly crying in the audience. I was like, this is so nice. I'm so happy for it. So like I'm really glad to see this game getting like I don't even know, I haven't played it. I say nothing, but like it gave me a lot of warm and fuzzies. So like I'm happy to see people also having maybe warm and fuzzies.
I'm happy to
Happiness.
see games like this being made and like we're talking about them instead of always being AAA and these
Yeah.
indie games that I would almost say these indie games are almost AA games because there's so much polish in them. Like even
Mhm.
Stellar Blade, even though it's technically, I guess, a AAA game, but Shift Up, that's their first console game. This game's
Oh, wow.
like for their first, it's fantastic. Like, I think about Drinkbox with Guacamelee way back in the day. I remember playing
Yep.
that and going, "Oh my god, like, this game was so good." I'm like, "Why aren't people making more games like that?" And then you get all these huge AAA experiences that are 80-hour epics, and they're broken. Like, you play them on day 1, and the game doesn't work at all.
Everything goes into early access. It's not working because it's in early access. It doesn't have to work. That's fine. That's fine. Uh, yeah. So it wasn't until recently that I even really explored the world of indie gaming. Like I was like, bah, those are little games. None of that. Anything that was like pixel art kind of games. Nope. I want none of that. I want the grass to move. I don't know. I was a snob. And then now doing the job that I do, not only do I play them, but I talk to people about them constantly. I meet the people making them. I read all the reviews of our writers that are writing them like, well, damn. I need to do something. I need to play something different. And now most of the time I'm finding myself playing those games, but part of that to be with how like the games that I have played and the attention span I have at night now is a little different than it used to be too. So,
Fair.
yeah, it varies.
Well, this is one of it's like an EA original. I know like people listen, they're like, "Oh, you're just an EA." Like, yes, but
You
like
are
also,
still. You're
yeah,
100%
fair.
still. Yeah.
Fine. But I think their EA originals have been really strong in some of my
Yeah.
favorite titles recently. Like Lost in Random was one of my like loved it. I think they're fostering these like really cool titles, and
Mhm.
sometimes even after that, these studios will just like start doing their own thing in a different, well, not different direction, but like the people that made Lost in Random, they left that current studio. They found out, I think it's like Moonhood or something, and they're doing these like weird, creepy claymation games over in Scandinavia. Like, it's really cool that the EA is like helping them like build these, help them get the word out. And this game is great. And what I think is most interesting, and again, I don't know.
So
This
these
isn't spoilers.
are they EA?
Yeah.
They're not EA owned studios. They're just EA published.
Yeah, they're EA published.
Okay, so the
I
EA
think they
can't
got
fire them when they need stock shares. I just wanted to make sure because that's
funding and marketing and promo.
it's
And
like these
everybody
big
wins.
studios. They're just like, hey, so we need to get our stock up. So you might have made us billions of dollars, but we're just gonna fire you. We'll hire you in a couple weeks, but we'll fire you right now.
That was a sad time, but that was a fun discussion when we got to talk business. That was my element.
Business.
But what I think is interesting, so the title is Tales of Kenzara: Zhao. Zhao is the name of the character you play. I'm interested to see if later we get it maybe from a different
Someone else.
perspective or a different person in this world, or maybe the sequel, was it like Man in Medan? Who does that? The Until Dawn studio. They have like the anthology where it's same concept, different story. Maybe they do something like this. So I don't know. It's just interesting.
I didn't realize that was the character's name. So like as soon as you said that, I went, wait a second. That's kind of cool.
So it's gonna be, I don't know. Check it out. I mean, definitely check it out. I think it's only like $20.
I love places that I love games that leave it open to go somewhere or nowhere or everywhere. You know what I mean? Not just getting a game you think was done and then making the here's another one though. I like that this has left a little breadcrumb.
We'll see. I mean, it's it made a big impression on people. So
and it's free on PlayStation Plus. Like
that's right. Yeah, it's gonna be free. I forgot about that part.
When
is it
like
free?
I yelled there.
A little. You
It's
surprised me.
It's available now. It is available now, and so is Dave the Diver on PlayStation Plus right now. I started playing Dave the Diver. I can understand why people all love this game. Like it's fun. You are literally a diver. You go down and you
Named Dave, perhaps.
yes,
Man,
and you
Story
harpoon
over.
fish. You harpoon fish, and then you help a guy run a sushi bar. Like I don't know why I like it so much.
I wouldn't be able to play that.
I'm committing murders and then feeding people my murders. Is that why?
Pez loves Monster Hunter, and I'm like, dude, I can't shake the fact that this monster's just big chilling, asleep, and you go over and just whack its tail off, and sometimes you don't even get the part you need, so what was it for? And so, like, I would not be able to play this game where I'm just, like, destroying these... Court, I can't believe you're a monster.
What did you do in the Tails game? Just hug everybody you walked by?
It's different, but...
It's different.
It's different. It's different when it's me. It doesn't fit my narrative, but...
I like it. I like it.
Court, you're a monster. I can't believe you.
Something has happened in the hockey game. Everybody's texting me. What is going on here?
They're texting you. You're
Hold on,
that,
this
you're that hockey,
is
are you?
important.
I turned it off.
Oh, it's do you want me to tell you? I mean, it's tied. End of the second.
Hearts puck. Woo. No.
It's a big deal. I don't know. I can't. This game.
And
makes
now
me
for your
anxious.
Bruins break.
I know the Leafs are up 1-0.
No, they're not. It's 1-1.
Oh, what?
So we scored. Because we're the best. Let's go. All right, get wrecked, Leafs. You nerds. All right.
And then I saw Dapper. So
Oh,
Dapper, who's a friend of the show and
We
friend
love
of
you,
everybody
Dap.
on the show.
Yes.
He is one of those delusional hockey fans, and I hope he hears this because he puts out like he sent me a text the other night. He was like, "Oh, that was in, the goal. It was like almost it was saved." And I'm like, "Well, there's other angles. Like, how do you know if that's in or not?" And he's one of those people that he put out the tweet. He's like, "Oh, the refs are on the Bruins side. Yet the Leafs had all the power plays. The Bruins just got one for the first time in the game. But all of a sudden, and then it's just
fixed.
I don't want to get into it with Leaf fans sometimes because when they do stuff like that, it just shows how uneducated they are about the game of hockey, and it's sad. I don't want to play the card, but like I grew up with the game. My dad played professional hockey. My cousin is the coach of the Las Vegas Golden Knights. You know what? There is not all these conspiracy theories that people think exist in the game of hockey. It is just a game. Players don't care. A penalty is a penalty. They're going to argue. It is what it is. Just get good. I don't know what else to tell you.
Skill
That
issue.
one I'll give you. But have you never reviewed a game? Don't you know we're all just paid? If you like a game,
yeah,
you're
like-
paid
Oh,
by
that's
the
right.
people that made it. If you don't like a game, you're paid by literally anybody else. Don't you know?
Exactly. Like I look at Bruins Game 5 Stanley Cup Finals in 2019, sorry. I was at that game. I watched Sean Corrali be tripped Noel Achari be tripped bigger than anybody else in the world. There was no call. You know what? You get over it.
I don't
Like,
get over it.
when
I
you
bet
go
you
on
they
the
don't
internet
actually.
I did
and
not.
whine
bet you.
and cry about it, you make
Bet you-
yourself sound stupid. Stop doing
I
it.
would put money that I could, as a non-hockey fan,
Yes.
Google that and immediately find people still mad right now.
Yeah, I haven't
They
smiled
are not
since.
over it.
That was the last time I was
Hey,
happy.
it cost me $1,200 to go to that hockey game. I was very angry, but
Oh,
I
never
also
mind, you
come
win.
from a time where I grew up playing where I grew up and playing in Pickering. Our teams were not good. We lost a lot. So I'm like a Leaf fan. I am used to sadness
Getting
in
your
my
feelings
life
hurt.
and being a loser at all times, regardless of what happens, because my franchise
Also,
is
a video game journalist. Congratulations. That's where we're at.
well, I think
You grew
they're
into
kind of
it.
like the same. Like it's funny how many
Mhm.
people take offense to stuff in gaming journalism. I'm just like,
Yeah.
whatever, man. Like if someone wants to get mad at a review, thank
Yeah.
you for moving the algorithm and giving me
Thank you for the clicks.
like
Appreciate
honestly,
it.
like
Thank you for
the
the
haters
attention.
click you more, right? Like
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're saying something like
Comment sections?
I'm waiting for the Stellar Blade comments because like I say that I don't care and I don't think it's that big of a deal. And you're gonna have the people that think it's a big deal.
Somebody
But
got mad because our tennis, what is it, Topspin something something. He said that he played Mario Tennis. So in the comments, they were mad that he played Mario Tennis. That's not a real sports game.
it
So?
is. No, you know
Like-
what? But it is.
That's a sport and a game. Ah,
Thank you.
see what we did there? Kills me. Oh, the comment section.
Comment
don't look
section.
anymore.
They're hilarious though. All they do is they push the algorithm. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Like-
I'd cry. I just don't. Anything that I'll cry. I'm a loser.
I think I've gotten thicker skin. I had a while there where I didn't want to be on social media because it's terrible, and I'm afraid for our kids. I truly am. Like your son is older. Like, how do you handle that right now?
So he is only on, like, we have Facebook Messenger. That's what he does. I control who's on there. Kids are all right. They call each other names a lot. That's super fun. For me, it's more the 74 messages in a row, like just emojis or just gibberish. I'm like, nope. If you're not using real words, if you're not having real conversations, then you're not going to have this. We're not going to use it as a way to bother people. We're not going to use it as a way to pick on people. If you want to talk to somebody, you talk to them. If you want to annoy them, you go to bed. I don't know.
Love it.
But right now it's like group chats on Messenger while they all play Roblox together.
So that's what my daughter does, and she's almost 8, and all they do is she sends me on. She has Facebook Messenger for kids, right? So that's
Yeah,
how we
same thing. Yeah.
So we can monitor that. I even gave her an Apple account, and she's like, "Oh, that's great." I'm like, "I don't think you realize I gave you an Apple account on her family, so until you're 18 years old, you're mine. I know where you are at all times." Like I said to my wife, I'm debating she's supposed to go to summer camp for 2 weeks this summer.
Mhm.
I'm debating getting her an Apple Watch just so I can monitor where she is at 24 hours a day.
Mhm.
She can't go away. As long as she's got that watch on, it's the tracker. I know where she is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think I gave my son a Fitbit for a while just so he had time while he went outside. Sorry, I have a tickle. It's a mess.
Well, but
And
also
trying to
think
keep
about
track of what they're saying to each other is getting me.
It's scary. Like as a parent, we have to like really think hard because we know what we've said on social media. We didn't have that as kids. And I think about like the bullying we all went through as kids and like the stuff that happened in school. People now can't get away from it. If they get bullied at school, and I got bullied at school because I was a larger, robust kid, I was husky, as they would say. I would get picked on at school, but when I'm home, I'm at home. Now, these kids can go home and they get annihilated on social media right after, like nonstop. That scares the crap out of me.
It's
It was-
it's
it was really innocent when we were. It was like, hey, hi, what's up? Nothing much. How about you? Nothing. And then like, what else? Like there was nothing. Like nobody had any idea what to talk about. These kids right now, venomous. I don't know where they get it from. Like that's like the weird thing too. It's like where do you inherit this language online? It's like
YouTube.
oh, is it YouTube? Is it all the pranksters doing mean things?
Absolutely.
Trent Frederick scored the
funny.
goal, Waba.
God, he's so good. I'm vindicated.
I knew that would make
Sorry,
you happy.
he's like a third, fourth liner that everybody says is a scrub, but I believe in him.
He is definitely TLC. That should be his nickname.
His
Did no
nickname
one
should
get that
be-
reference? Like you guys are that young that you didn't even get my.
I know
Scrub
TLC. I
Scrub,
just don't
the
know
song,
any-
Scrub.
Oh,
I could sing the
didn't-
whole thing.
I
just
didn't
don't
make
know
that
what you're
connection.
talking about.
I'm pretty sure he's they called him the Great One. Trent Frederick.
Oh, shut up.
I'm pretty sure everybody wants to be called the Great One, and they just make that up about themselves at some point.
Well, we're already of that age where if kids talk about like, oh, this person's the greatest hockey player in the world, we're like, actually, and then they're like, no, he's
This
just
person
old.
from 1994, and you're like,
Damn it.
Yeah, man.
back in the 1900s.
We're old. Like I have conversations like when we hang out, like when you were talking about hanging out with gaming media, I feel old. Like I
Yep.
truly do. Because the conversations people have sometimes, like just like, what are you talking about?
It's not necessarily that I am that much older either, though. It's just like I have kids, and a lot of people don't anymore, and that's
Hmm.
cool.
Yep,
Like
that's fine. Yep.
I'm all for that. I love my children, but I'm also like, hey, it'd be cool if you weren't here sometimes. So I totally get that, but those are completely different lives now. Like
They are.
having kids has put me in this like old lady bracket somewhere. But then I go to like a video game event and I'm with like the younger people, but I'm also like, oh, you guys don't have other responsibilities. Huh. How
Yep.
about that? How
Like
about
when we were at PAX, people were like, "Oh, we're gonna go out for dinner at this time." I'm like, well, I could call my daughter. Like, I'll meet you guys out there, but like, I'm gonna like go back to the room as quickly as humanly possible. And I'm gonna have a little chat with my daughter and see her on FaceTime, which is
nice
amazing.
of you?
But like, that was in my brain. I'm like, that's what I need to do. I'm like, I'll meet you guys whenever. You guys go do what you're gonna do. I will figure it out, but I'm gonna go do this. But they don't have that. They're like, let's do this all the time. And it's interesting in this industry because there is a huge age gap. You can have like people that are in their early 20s all the way to me in their mid 40s. Mid 40s. Yeah.
Age.
I thought you were gonna land like mid-30.
Ah,
Yeah, that's what I would have done.
middle age. You know,
But you're not don't say that, dude.
past
I'm
my
only gonna
prime.
live till I'm 70. I am now middle aged. We're done. That's it.
Yeah, past
I'm
my
out.
prime. But
Yeah.
you know, it's I'm still more scared for our kids because like what we're seeing in social media now when they're there, it's gonna be 10 times different. Like I always talk people always talk about Snapchat and I'm like, that's still a thing, yet it's a thing for the younger kids.
I don't
It's
get
not just for the younger kids though. Okay, so I, for no reason, just because I'm nosy, I'm in one of these groups that's called like, "Are we dating the same guy?" I am in a committed relationship. I just want to know what's going on. I think it's hilarious. And sure enough, all these people are posting like 97 people have matched with the same guy on Tinder or whatever. And it's all
This
like,
is
well,
fascinating.
he only
It's
ever
the tea,
messages
dude.
me on you've got to join these groups. I have no reason to be in them. I am just nosy. But like it's well, he's got this Snapchat score. Is that bad? And I'm like, what does that even mean?
There's scores in Snapchat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like how much you send and how often you send, and you have like chains with people. I'm like, I use Snapchat for like, God, when my son was probably a baby because the filters were funny. That
Fair.
was it.
I've never used it.
That
I've
was
never
it.
downloaded it. I have X, but I don't even it's
I
Twitter.
don't recommend you do that if you are a committed man. It won't go well for you.
No, my
They'll
wife
they'll find you.
my wife is Italian. She would kill me.
Oh, you would be a dead man. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah,
no
her
one would
dad
ever
makes phone
find
calls
you.
from payphones. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. You'd be in
Yeah.
trouble. Do not
Yeah.
download Snapchat.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I send one snap to like our family Snapchat maybe once a quarter, and I text everyone to say, "Did you see it? Did you find it funny?" Because I need that validation.
He does. When he makes
But-
a
You
joke
didn't
about
tell
it,
me.
he's always just like, guys.
It's very because him and Pez will have a conversation. I'll ignore it, but then I'll come in with my thing and be like, "Everybody, look at this thing."
And we'll just move
Um,
on. It's more fun just to let it go. If you don't acknowledge him, then it makes his day like worse.
Yeah,
So
it's-
my partner is like that. He'll tell a joke, but like he's not funny. I'm funny. He's not funny.
He's quiet. Your partner is quiet.
He is very quiet, yes. So, well, I'm very loud, so he might not be. He's just always with me. We're not sure.
But like I
But-
spent a day with him and you,
Yeah.
and I think he said 3 words. Maybe 3 words.
but they carried meaning and weight.
No, I
Unless
think
it
one
was
I think
bathroom,
one was like to
hot
tell
dog.
he had to, I think one of them was to tell her he had to go to the bathroom. Like,
That's probably it. No, you're thinking of my boss, not my partner. Brendan?
oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, no, but same thing. Yeah, they're the same person. It's fine.
Okay, fair
No,
enough,
my
fair enough.
partner, very
apologies.
similar. Also, and no, you're good. Everybody thinks we're married because we're always together.
You are
I think-
always together.
We are always together. I am in the office now. He is. I kicked him out of his desk for this. But yeah, no, we are always together. But no, my partner, he's very similar. Tall, skinny dude, very quiet. I tend to take over. but he'll tell a joke that's awful, and he knows it's awful, and I'll just move on, and then he'll wait for a lull in the conversation and then say it again. I'm like, no, we heard you the first time.
Oh,
Like,
so nice. You
we
gotta
knew
say
it
twice.
happened. We just didn't want to hurt your feelings, but now I have to hurt your feelings.
It's just too cerebral for all of you. That's what
So
it's
I
happening.
could never meet
Yeah.
your partner because I think I would be like, dude, don't do that again. Because I'm
It's
I
so
am I'm very direct. I've been told.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, a little bit.
No, absolutely.
Little, but hey, I got us free t-shirts at t-shirts at the bar in Boston. Free t-shirts
the
from
way
the whole
forward.
staff.
Talking about being a parent and going out and not being as good as your once was. That's the last time I can go out physically for like the rest of the year.
I had a
Oh,
great
no.
time.
That
Oh, I made him drink for long periods of time.
yeah, I'm a water person typically, so that was fun.
If I am away from home, I'm going out.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I have a bunch of stuff coming up. I'm going away for the longest I think I've ever been away from home in my life.
How's that going to be for you though? Like, is that going to
Hard.
bother you? Yeah.
It's gonna suck, yeah. You were talking earlier about calling your daughter from PAX. I go to CES in Vegas every January, and I don't know what it is. Every time I leave, someone gets sick.
Oh yeah, we were there at the exact same time. That was the worst weather ever.
Yeah, every time. But like every time I leave, one of my kids gets sick, and not to pull like the "it's different when you're a mom" card, but it is something about being a mom and being
Mm.
away. First off, you either assume or the whole world thinks you're the worst person on the planet because
True, because
you're
you're the
not
mom.
there.
Yeah,
Cool,
and you're
cool,
the mom.
cool. What, you're
Fair.
leaving for work? What? Yes,
Moms
yes, I am.
don't do that. You have to be everything
We
for
don't do that.
everybody.
No, we don't leave. My partner gets up with our kids in the morning, and like that blows people's minds. No, if you met me before like 9, it's not nice. You don't want me before 9. Nobody does, including my kids. Like maybe just go wake mom today. I try, but it just doesn't work. But going away, my son got sick. He threw up during a haircut, I think. And
Jesus.
so they
Oh.
they need to call me and tell me while I'm on the show floor at CES. I'm like, okay, what would you like me to? What? And they're like, oh no, we just want to let you know. I'm like, cool, that's awesome, that's so good. Great. And now I'm just panicked and stressed out
Yeah,
and
your
feeling
day's
all that
ruined for the
mom
rest of
guilt,
the day.
right?
Yeah.
So I just cried. I sat down, and Brendan was with me at that, and he was like, oh, what do I do? I'm like, nothing. I just need to cry for a minute. He's like, okay.
You know,
like,
you should have been
need to
like, go get me the hardest drink possible now.
Right? He was like, "Do you need to go home?" I'm like, "No, he just threw up." He's like, "Then what? But why are you
How do you think-
crying then?"
Well, that's
How
like
do you think that
I feel
barber
bad.
felt?
my
Like
daughter.
little
last
man
night,
hated the haircut so much he barfed.
My daughter last
Yeah,
night, she was
absolutely.
like, she was crying in the middle of the night at like 2 o'clock, and I go into the room, and she was crying because she threw up. And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And so, because we're both lactose intolerant, and we both had ice cream cake at the keg, we had Billy Miner pie. We shouldn't have done it. Let's be honest here. It tastes fantastic, though. Let's all be honest. For whoever's had it, it's good.
It does. Yep.
Yeah. And so then I put her back down, and then I left the room, and she got up to puke again. I'm like, oh. So I go back in the room, and then my wife and I switched. So then my
Yep.
wife went in, and then I technically got the off easy because I only dealt with it for a half an hour. My wife had to sleep in the same bed as her. She's like going, and they 2 hours of all this.
Yep.
And I got up this morning, and I took a mental day from work. I called my boss. Was like, I'm sick today. At first, I got no sleep whatsoever, but I was
Yeah.
so drained from everything that happened. So you getting that phone call on the show floor,
You're done.
yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
And people don't
And even
realize that.
I am 35 years old. When I'm sick, like I need my mommy to give me a poor baby still. I need to text
Exactly.
her and be like, "This is what's happening," and I need her to care. That's it. Like, so something like that happens every time. And this the series of events, I get to do some really cool things that like I just can't pass up. And it's funny because my mom was the one that like always took care of us, always did everything, and she kind of always taught me like the woman does everything. And then when I started this job, she completely did a 180, and like I'm getting the chance to go to Taiwan, and she's like, "Well, you have to go." Whereas before, like it very much would have been like a, "Well, you can't leave your kids," but now she's like, "No, I'll take time off work. You need to go." Like nobody asked you to do that, mom. She's like, "No, I'm gonna do
Wow.
that. You're gonna go."
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
"Okay, cool," but that doesn't alleviate the guilt. It just
No.
doesn't. Like
Guilt's terrible. I
my
went
daughter
downtown.
woke up. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go.
So that the day that I found out I was gonna do all that, my daughter woke up in the middle of the night screaming bloody murder. Like I thought the world was gonna end. And she had a nightmare and she's like, I thought you were gone for real. And like
How
I
do they
hadn't
know?
even told her about the trip or anything yet. And I'm like,
They
great,
know. They
great.
know
I'm never leaving
everything.
again. So
And you
I'm
can never
holding
leave in the
her.
middle of the night. You
No,
have to wait till they wake up so you can say goodbye.
yep. I that night I held her in my bed while she was crying. Well, I cried because I'm a bad mom and I'm leaving. So great.
Stop calling
So
yourself a bad
good.
mom, but that's the guilt. I get it.
But that's how you feel, right? Like immediately. I'm like, she doesn't even know yet. And she's already like having panic attacks about me being gone. I'm like, this is good. This is so fine. So
Like a couple
fine.
weekends ago, I went downtown for a birthday party, and they're all younger, and they're all going out drinking. And I showed up, and I was driving, and they're like, "You're not drinking?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll have one drink." And they're like, "But like we're all going out." I'm like, "Yeah, but like I got things to do tomorrow. Like I've got to like
Yeah.
you have these responsibilities." And like I said to them, I was like, "Well, I just went to Boston a couple weeks ago," and they were like, "Well, that was like," the person was like, "Well, dude, that was like a month ago." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's a lot. For our kids, they're not old, right? So for them, their
Yeah.
life is this big. Our
Yeah.
life is this big. So me going away a month ago and me going away for 48 hours, 72 hours, that's a lot on them. So
But for me, my son is with my past partner, who luckily is great. We're best friends. So he's gone 3 days a week. He goes to his dad's. So if I'm gone in the 4 days that he's with me,
Mhm.
and he's gone, like there's sometimes I'll
that's
only go
huge
away
gap.
for work for a day and a half, but then all of a sudden he's gone for 6 days. I'm like, ugh, great. And then he will not care. He'll give me a guilt trip. I'll stay home from something. I'll be like, okay, well, I won't do podcast tonight. I won't do this. I won't do that. I'll stay home. And he's like, okay. And he's like, I'm gonna go in the bedroom on my computer. I'm like, but it's that
Got him.
comfort, right? It's that like, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to know you're there. And that's the same like when the kids go to bed at night with my partner. Sometimes I'm like, I love you so much. Please don't speak for the next couple hours. Like, be there. Just, just don't though. just don't. I get it.
Maybe give me a foot rub, but that's about it.
Yeah, bring me snacks if I
Yeah.
start doing this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But don't talk to me. Don't acknowledge me. Just do what I say when I do it.
Yeah. If I talk to you, maybe you can speak. Other than that, no. I get it though. It's that comfort of wanting them there, but like I don't want to hang out with you. I just like want you to be here if I need you. I
Yeah,
too
my
am
wife is
8.
very much. We hang out a lot, and we work in the same house. We both work from home. It is
There you go.
painful.
That's where we're
I
at right
mean, it
now.
is a
Like you're here
blessing.
all the time.
It's a blessing. I love it. Yet
Yeah.
when I went to Boston, that my daughter is 8 November, that was the first time I was away by myself since
Yeah.
she was born. And it
Oh.
was that was the
Weird,
wow, but
right?
that's why I was like, I am having the best time I can possibly have. But I was also the person that was got up early on the day, on the Saturday, and my flight wasn't till 4, and I waited at the airport to try and get a flight early because I was awake. I'm like, forget it. I just went to the airport. I got on an early flight and went home early. I just sat there and just like, I'll figure it out. Because I was ready. You know when you're at that
Mhm.
point and you're away
Mhm.
from your kids and then you're just, "No, I'm ready to go home. Like, I'm
Mhm.
ready to go home. I need to be home now."
And then you get in the door and like all life breaks loose and you're like, "Hey, remember when I wasn't here? That was cool." Remember that time?
It's like when you show up to a party, you really wanted to go to the party, and then just 5 minutes into walking in there, you're like, "Why was I here? I just wanna be at
There
home
are
in my
so many
PJs."
people here.
Yeah, I don't wanna
Why?
talk to anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. My first thing away from my kids. So my daughter was born during COVID. She was well, no, she was born like right before COVID. She was
Yeah.
about 7 months old when the whole world shut down. And then when the whole world opened back up, I got to go to Austria, which is a really cool opportunity, but I'd never been away from my kids. I'd never been away. So I was like, well, again, that whole like bad mom feeling. And I went, and I'm never alone, period. Like it's not just away from my kids, it's there's always someone there.
Yeah,
Like
seriously, there's always someone with you.
I'm never alone, whether it's at work, whether it's me and my partner or me and the kids. Like no one, especially for a mom, just picks up the kids and leaves for the day. That doesn't happen. And if it does, I'm probably working. So I was like, okay, I could do this. I could go like on a trip by myself. Completely panicked. I believe the first night I was there, I just cried myself to sleep. I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. Now I'm kind of a little bit more used to it. Now I'm like, 2 nights in a hotel. All right, I'm on it. Is there a hot tub? Good system.
Hot tub bar.
Hot tub bar, absolutely. I got
Domino's
a
delivery.
I have a hot
giant
tub in my
bath in
backyard.
Italy. Okay, well that's just rude.
Okay, flex.
It's amazing. Like this morning, like so what I did for my day, because I was just like, I'm emotionally drained from the night before. So
Yeah.
I didn't feel well. So I technically was sick. So I just messaged the boss. I'm like, I'm sick today. And then I called up my physiotherapist, got a massage at 10 o'clock, then came back, sat in the hot tub, and then dropped my daughter off at my in-laws.
The dream.
Bobby L.
It was fantastic.
See, my mom likes me, so like if I drop the kids off, she's like, "But you're gonna stay, right?" I'm like,
My father-in-law is a huge Leafs fan. So he doesn't want
Oh,
to, he doesn't want to
gross.
talk, yeah, he doesn't want to talk to me right now.
Ugh.
"Wow, that's funny."
You're actively
that.
rooting for his sadness.
I think you're just doing it on purpose. You're like, I don't. If I do this, they'll take my kids and want me to go away. That's the way forward. That's the way.
Speaking of Leafs, is there any update?
It's 1-1. It's 2-1?
Ah! Dude, I'm gonna. I can't.
So, oh my God.
Dude, guess who scored it? Not Trent.
Pasta.
Nope.
Marchand.
Jake the Snake DeBrusk.
Baby.
The man everyone wanted
Isn't
gone.
This wrestling?
No, Jake DeBrusk, the guy everybody wanted to ship out, 3 goals in 3 games for your Boston Bruins. And yeah, I mean, our happiness could be gone in the next 20 minutes, but we'll see. I know we're almost at the end. Any final words for the thoughts for the folks out there?
He's talking to you.
Anyone?
How much time? I don't know the rules. No, I think the only thing I didn't touch on was the.
We didn't touch on
change in
anything. Remember, we
No,
didn't
that
touch-
you guys did,
which is
right? You had games.
I like to be able to talk
well,
about gaming from a
we don't
mom
like,
perspective.
This podcast
We don't
doesn't
get that.
need to be about video games all the time.
Yeah.
So we started going on the different path. I'm like, let's just go with it.
It happens
Yeah.
to the best of us. I tend to derail things. It's kind of my thing.
And we
Um,
like to be derailed.
No, I think the only thing from a mom's perspective is kind of how my life in gaming changed. Like we were talking earlier about, like I was these like 1,000-hour games, and like I barely ever touched the stories because I just wanted more and more and more. And now that's so hard for me that I have a full day of like video games, but not playing any of them. Like my job is video games. And then by the time I get the kids down, my son goes to bed at 9, and I'm like, I'm a night owl, so like I stay up pretty late. But even
Jesus, I'm
still,
in bed at 9:30.
my brain doesn't stay there with me. So right now, I just jumped back into Elden Ring after
Jesus.
No,
90-hour epic.
You're gonna
It's-
be there a
it's-
while.
You were talking about like, should I go this way? No, in Elden Ring, you should go no ways. You should just not go. You should stay and just pick flowers. That's it. That's all
Turning
you
it
should
back
do.
off.
Just all you should do. Uh-oh, did you ruin the game?
No,
Did you
but
score?
Burns, I turned it on. Burns get a penalty. I'm like,
Oh no,
They'll be
you're
all
bad
right.
luck.
They'll be all right. That's why I don't watch it.
But like I jumped back into Elden Ring and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to this farming simulator because still hundreds of hours, but my brain doesn't have to be there with me, and I can be like, look at my pretty flowers, and then that's it. And I hate that change because I always hated that. Everyone assumed that that's all girls did in gaming, and I was like, I never did that. I didn't care. And now I'm like, another farming simulator?
so you love
Please.
cozy games.
I don't know when this happened to me.
Have
And
you
then
played
I'm like,
Dreamlight Valley?
Yes. So Dreamlight Valley, Stardew Valley. I'm playing Coral Island right now. Tales of the Shire is coming, which is like Lord of the Rings, adorable, cozy. Fae Farm. I could keep going. Let's
Awesome.
Build a Zoo. Also adorable. You can create
Terrible
monstrosities.
movie. Continue.
It's so good. But like I've started playing all these games, and then I took on Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden recently. Oh my god, such a good game.
Oh, that game looks sick. That's by
It
is that
is.
who's the developer on
Don't
that?
Nod.
Is that Don't Nod? Yeah, they did
Don't Nod.
Remember Me. Yeah, they're excellent. They only put out bangers.
Yeah, I'm not huge on the story in games because I've never been able to focus and pay attention. Like again, Skyrim, if you ask me what happened, I have no idea. If you ask me important characters' names, no idea. But I breathed that game. I could probably take you for a walk through one of the cities, but I can't tell you anything verbal about it. And Banishers I played. And first off, that game has 5 different endings. And you have to do very specific things to get them. Like for the main two, you have to either kill everybody or kill nobody, and there's no in between. And that game, in like the first hour, I was bawling my eyes out. That story will just
Wow.
the not a
On the
spoiler.
list. No.
The main storyline is your banishers, so you banish ghosts, and
You're
your
banished.
partner dies saving you.
Mhm.
And she comes back to you as a ghost because you're a banisher and you can see her, and you have to decide whether or not you're gonna fight together to bring her back or let her die. And it's horrific. And then the entire rest of the story is deciding whether or not people deserve to live or die. So like, if you choose that you want to bring her back to life, you have to kill all these innocent people. If you choose that you're gonna like not, you have to save all these not good people. It's a friggin' mess, and it'll rip your heart out. And yeah, it's the first like big game I took on in a long time, and I was like, I don't have the emotional capacity for this at this time of night. Like I can't feel these feelings right now. And then when I play Elden Ring, if my daughter's awake, she's like, I want to help you with your game. I'm like, great, that won't go badly at all. That'll be totally fine. So chill. Awesome. So good.
We're about to
Holy
eaten by a
flowers.
dragon. Get over it. It's no big deal.
It'll be
It
alright.
happens.
The first time I played Elden Ring, the first thing I did was walk out and go, hey, I could fight this guy, and it was big dude on a horse. I don't know if you played. It was a bad idea, and I got very upset.
As a PlayStation player, Elden, not. Oh, Elden Ring. Oh yeah, no, I would never play that
Yeah,
game.
no, we're not.
Don't do
No,
that. It was a bad idea.
Hard video games, no, they're garbage.
no. I respect
But
those
that's
that
me
do.
as a parent
but
now.
I'm
Hard
out.
video games, they're garbage. Like,
Yeah.
why does it have to be hard?
Well, I say
Why?
this. Look at it. When we played video games back in the day, all those games were hard anyways. Like Super Nintendo games were
That's
so
actually-
hard for no reason. Aladdin was
ever-
hard.
Have you ever seen your kids try to jump a gap?
They can't. They don't know how to do it.
No, it's brutal. Even in Bluey. Like my daughter's 4, mind you, but she's started playing the Bluey game with me. And
Let's go outright.
To run and jump is just not a thing that she can do.
Oh.
My son, when he was little gaming Minecraft, he'd dig a hole straight down and just not be able to get out of it. I'm like, have the coordination, jump, just do it, just do it. It's fine. But it's not fine. They cannot do it yet.
It's not, but it's not fun.
But it's not fine. It's just like, let me help you with this garden game. I'm like, but you're gonna wreck my garden. Okay. Kids are great.
So Dana, if you're not hanging out with us, where can folks find out more about you and the
Ooh.
content that you put out there?
So I am either on Twitter at the Dana Eileen, which good luck spelling that, or you can find me on cgmagonline.com, where I publish a lot of my content, but it's also what I eat, sleep, and breathe nowadays as the editor there. So
Or jet setting around the world.
That's right.
yes, probably saying dumb things on Twitter about that, if that counts for anything.
Like anytime I
on
see you on
TikTok,
social media, I'm
too.
like, you are away again.
I am away again, yes. For a while, it was like once a month, and then this summer, all of a sudden, everybody's like, let's do everything at the exact same time. And you're like, that's fine. That's totally fine. I can be
No
everywhere.
big deal.
everywhere.
Everywhere
I think
for
I'm
everyone.
going 4 time zones in a week is what I'm doing.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh,
Oh,
that you're gonna need
yes.
sleeping pills.
Yeah, I'm going the opposite direction and then back. So like I'm going where I start is 12 hours away, and I'm going back 3, so I'm 15 hours away and then back.
You're
You'd
like a
think they'd just
professional
go the other
athlete.
way. Oh no, I'm a professional nothing, and I will cry. That is how that's gonna go. Anybody that sees me in that 3-week period, if you hug me, I will cry. That's it.
Fair.
That's it. Don't show me a picture of my kids. I'll cry twice.
Oh, good.
It's not good.
Cord, any final thoughts for the folks?
Go watch the hockey game because that's what I
Yeah.
like. Honestly,
Not
people.
Court though. He's screwing it up for them.
yeah.
And the
no, I turned
Leafs,
it off.
you stink.
Waba, don't do that. Don't put that juju on us.
I'm not. I like the fans. I like the people who are fans, but I don't want you to be happy at the end of this series. I'm sorry.
Swayman again.
I like
I'll
you.
say this right now: if Swayman played last game, they would have won. I know Allmark played well, but Swayman's playing better.
Swayman's perfect. And so are you. Thank you so much for listening to 3 Dads and a Console. If you want to see more from us, make sure to subscribe to us at youtube.com/3dadsandaconsole. You can check out more articles from us at 3dadsconsole.com. And yeah, thank you, Dana, very much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everyone. We'll see you in the next time. Bye.